Growing up as a kid, true story. Growing up as a kid, I wanted to be an architect. Coach Damont live from Tycoon Podcast. I had this gentleman here. I was just introduced to him. I pulled him over here. I was like, hey man, can you be on my podcast? Because I told him I barely meet any black men architects. Like growing up as a kid, true story. Growing up as a kid, I wanted to be an architect. And all the way up until I got to be graduate from high school, some things happened. I wanted to go to Clark School, to Clark in Atlanta, because they had an architecture program. I've always been infatuated with houses and designs and buildings and all of those things. So to meet a black man that looks like me, that actually went through the process of what I didn't go through, is always inspiration. So tell everybody about what you are, what you do.
All right. So my name is O.L. Scott. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. My story is a little bit different. I didn't dream or aspire to be an architect growing up as a kid. I wanted to be somebody that could change the community some shape, somehow.
Oh, okay.
Architecture landed on me. I went to Hampton University.
Yeah.
I chose a major maybe 2 weeks into school. I heard about it and thought that might be my route to being able to be somebody to do that.
Yeah.
And working in the field for a little bit, getting a further understanding of it, I realized the only way that I would really be able to have some that significant change is by becoming a licensed architect. Yeah. So that's why, when I became a licensed architect.
So what we do here at Tycoon is we have a community. So we have a very large community of people all over the United States. We own over 7,000 acres of land. So we have a club called the Land Trust Club. Inside of the Land Trust Club, many people give us land, cities give us land. We have a community land trust that we're building inside Detroit, Michigan. We own over 100 parcels in Detroit. And then we have families that just donate land to us for us to be able to be developed. So we're the first black robotic developer to own a 3D printer. So I've never met anyone else. When the company that built our robot, they told us no other black people had ever been in their office. So we're actually able to build a house in 7 days. So I'm looking forward to partnering and working with people like yourself to see how we can develop in communities. Because we can build houses so fast, we're partnering with a lot of cities on affordable housing, workforce housing. So we're partnering with a lot of corporations on workforce housing. And because we're able to build with the material called hempcrete. Hempcrete is, if you don't know much about it, but for the people watching, hempcrete is, yes, it's the same type of hemp that people smoke. It has some elements of that, but it's a mixture of concrete, and it's much more powerful. It's much more stronger. It's much more durable. Actually, Henry Ford, when he built the first car, he built it out of hemp. So it's much more powerful than wood. We don't use wood. We don't use drywall. Wood burns. Concrete doesn't burn.
Termites.
Right. It's termite proof. It's fireproof. It's earthquake proof. It's earthquake resistant. So we have a lot of different benefits to people building now with hempcrete. We're working with a healthcare provider, and they love it because hempcrete absorbs carbon monoxide. Versus, many of us that grew up in houses that are built with sticks, you're inhaling those chemicals. That's why you have to get carbon monoxide detectors. So it's a lot of benefits to having building a house with hempcrete. So I have a few questions that I ask people to come on the show. The first one is, what is generational wealth to you?
The word generational wealth has been tossed around a lot.
Yes.
And it's grown it's grown on a lot of different meanings. I think it would be personal because you say generation, and generation talks about the family, yes, and what the idea of the family is personal to the person. To me, generational wealth would be the next generation that come after me have the wealth of choice, yes, and what they want to do, the options and what pathways they want to go, and the things that they want to pursue. I said what I wanted to pursue was out of necessity for a change.
Yes.
I would like the future generations that come after me to make decisions that they want out of desire, things that they want for themselves. I think there's some financial aspect to it. Most importantly, taking care of maybe the burdens of lifestyle so that they can go and pursue those things, being able to afford a house, homes being able to be passed down. I heard somebody over here talking about earlier about having estate planning and those types of things. Just the option to start at base level would be my version of generational wealth.
So everybody inside of our program has a trust. Do you know what a trust is?
Yes.
What's a trust to you?
A trust to me is a legal guideline for how the estate will handle someone's affairs.
Yeah, exactly. And you'd be surprised, a lot of people in our generation does not know what a trust is. When we start talking about building generations of wealth, when we talk about Nelson Rockefeller and John Rockefeller and the Lamborghini family and the Trump family and even Nipsey Hussle, the way that they are able to plan for the people coming behind them is to make sure that they abide by the contract.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, I don't want the land that my family ever sold. I had a lady that was on my show earlier. She said farmers used to own more land than anybody, but now they've had to dissolve all of their land by selling it because generations came after them and said, no, we don't want to be farmers, we want to do something else. So now they gave up their land. So now we have no power over as far as ownership. So one of the things that a trust does is it helps you to be able to build a generation of wealth by saying, I don't want this. Or when my daughter gets married, I want to give her this. When my son gets married, I want to give him this. So having that instruction, which is that contract, is what helps the people coming behind us.
And I think that's important, how you expanded the conversation to farmers, right? I mean, this is not a problem that we see defined just by one small group. Right. If you look through history, the wealthiest man known in history, Mansa Musa, $400 billion, correct?
Yeah.
The Mali Empire.
Yep.
His family extinguished his whole financial savings within 2 generations.
Exactly.
I mean, how do you go from the richest ever amongst time in 2 generations?
They have any instruction.
There needs to have some type of guideline for those that go and make the sacrifice to put things in place because, you can't predict the future.
So, Maya Angelou said, she said, my legacy is everyone that I touch along the way. So my next question is, what do you want your legacy to be?
Oh, wow. Wow. What do I want my legacy to be?
Yeah.
I mean, it's cliche to say, like, it's still unwritten. And legacy is something that I guess would be a little bit more personal to the person besides their mission, right? What do I want to accomplish? Legacy is how you'll be remembered. Yes. Well, I would say, in essence, as being an architect, as being somebody who designs and develops, I would want my legacy to be something that is impacted by my built works, right? Yes. Which is one reason why I do like building. At best, I got another 50, 60 years if I eat right on this earth. Yeah. But through techniques you talked about and other ways that we look inside this building industry, we're able to build things that are able to stand the test of time. And not just the physical structure, but the way that these things engage with the community, right? We all got places that we look at childhood that were designed to host these family and communal functions. I want my legacy to be remembered through how my work's able to contribute to those that come after me.
Absolutely. So you told me before the show, you said, hey, I'm an architect, but we're about to start doing something else. I want you to just give me a little bit about what's next, what the next level is.
Cat out the bag. We architects, we help find solutions.
Yeah.
There gets to a point sometime where the solution isn't coming fast enough. Mm-hmm. And I believe our team is engaged, talented, educated, and not only that, we're able to find other people like-minded also that we can work with to come to solutions. What it means is we'll have to bear the burden of risk,
right? Which
we're able to negate by properly assessing every type of situation we look at. So by moving towards this form of development, we are now on the front line of making change happen instead of just, partnering with it.
So speaking of partners, how can we partner together? What can we do together?
I think you said you got 7,000 acres?
We got 7,000 acres of land. We are building, I have visions on building different things, but right now we're focusing on tiny homes, 3-bedroom, 2 baths, 4-bedroom, 2 baths, and then evolving from there. But my ultimate goal is to build community, so we're developing. There's a guy in Atlanta, his name Booker T. Washington Jr. I've never met him, but I've seen his developments. And his niche is he's building tiny home communities. And I
Oh,
went to
okay.
this tiny home community in Atlanta. They literally sold 600 square feet. So guess how much they sold for?
A lot.
$250,000 to $300,000. They sold out in 30 days. So this generation, they say, are minimalists. So they're living in smaller places because they need affordable housing. So I really want someone to come alongside with us and help us to just build affordable housing so that, you know, our grandkids now can afford housing, because right now in most cities you can't get a house for less than $400,000, $500,000. The average person is not making that much a year. You know, so just to be able to come, and like I said, if you could come on my platform and just teach, like I have a Tycoon School of Entrepreneurs. We give away $100 million in scholarships every year. So I don't even charge for my school because I want to teach about the foundation of wealth. I want to teach about the foundation of credit. I want to teach about the foundation of real estate versus people jumping in all these different courses and then not really getting, you know, what they need because they're pre-recorded courses. So publicly, will you agree to come?
I think I did a head shake, head nod, which is agreement, yes.
Yeah, so tell everybody where they can find you.
Well, you can find us online, www.sco-mo.com. SCO-MO, short for Scott Moore. We got a lot of information there. And if you are able to find us there, we have a newsletter that we put out monthly that gives us updates on projects, different information that we're learning, some industry trends.
All right, so now I want you to look at the camera, say your first and last name, and say, I'm a tycoon. Or you can say your first name. Just say your name and say, I'm a tycoon.
Well, Scott, I'm a tycoon.
Good job.
All right, man.
I love it.